Hey, good evening. We are going to be playing a game of White Box, fantastic medieval adventure game by Charlie Mason. Titled This is Revenge of Raynorth the Rogue. Raynorth the Red, as you've probably heard in stories and tales, was a famous rogue whose most successful mission was stealing the large emerald from the famous Greywind family many years ago. Raynorth was finally tracked down by some of the Baron's men as he was trying to get away from his pursuers. They reportedly caught him in one of the cave systems off of the coast, the Seaprill coast. And as they did and maneuvered in on him to take him, reportedly he hid the gem somewhere, never to be found again. And of course, Raynorth was found guilty of his crimes and hung by his neck until death soon after. The gem was never found and the tale lost to time, of course. But as we come to this adventure, we find our three party members have been contacted by a person they know that sometimes deals in long lost artifacts. Your friend Gevius the Black, has sent word to you that she has some information that may lead to the location of this emerald. She's offered all three of you total 1,000 gold up front to go and retrieve it, return it to her safely and intact, and transfer it over to her. As you make your way to the meeting place to meet Gevius, we'll start with you, Rush. You'll tell me about who you're playing and maybe what your relationship has been with Gevius the Black.
And then you DPS the monster.
Horatio,
which I didn't care for.
kind of walks in. He walks finely armored, has a really nice suit of armor. He has a suit of chainmail, keeps a particularly fancy helm tucked under one arm, a mace dangling off his belt, and a shield on his back. He walks chest out, chin high, has a bit of a pompous look to him. It's obvious he is a man of the cloth, but unlike most, he tends to be very strong and healthy. He's definitely no meek priest, and so his relationship with Gevius is would probably be one of possibly. He recognizes Gevius as a woman of strength, and he seeks to possibly redeem her from her roguish ways and try and bring her back into the straight and narrow, recognizing that should she use her talents for good, that there's no telling what she may accomplish. And so he figures if he can help her with this, it'll earn him the respect and the ability to sit and speak with her, and possibly basically just trying to use it as a way to work himself into her good graces so that he can try to steer her down the correct path.
Perfect. We'll see if Horatio is able to have any influence on Gevius and her sometimes shady ways. As you move in to sit at the table to meet with her, we turn over to you, Daniel. If you can introduce your character and maybe what their relationship is with Gevius.
I'll be playing Morgan Cold Spring of the Cold Spring. She's human, tall, especially for a woman, at nearly 6 feet. She dresses all in white robes, white cloak, save for the band, kind of intricate band of gold, almost like a crown that she wears across her head. Her hair is long down her back, also white in color. There's rumors or people speak of the she's like this because of her sacrifices that she's made to magical arts. As she heads towards the meeting with Gevius, she's interested in the money, of course, because magic isn't cheap. But really, she's much more interested in the story of Raynorth, and she's hoping to be able to collect some remains of him as she's working on a spell to speak with those who have passed. And once she accomplishes this task, she's hoping to get access to more things he has stolen that seems interesting to her. She keeps everybody at arm's length, including Gevius, but she's willing to take some risks in order to further her means as a magician.
All right, perfect. As you come in to the meeting place there, we go to our last member who arrives in. Crystal, who are you playing in your relationship to Gevius?
I'm assuming I'm just coming into town, so therefore I'm wearing my heavy armor as this halfling and heavy plate begins to walk in. He's wearing a cloak and what's the weather like? Is it sunny and stuff outside?
It is sunny and extremely warm on this day. In fact, it's about 15 degrees warmer than normal.
So he has his cloak and he just has it pushed back behind his shoulders. His hood is down. And, seeing as how he's coming to town and stuff, he's taken his helmet and, probably kind of just like place that somewhere on his backpack where it'll sit. And he's pulled down the throat protector on his armor so that he can speak and everything. He sees Gevius and has a little smile, gives her his little charming halfling smile as he begins to walk over to her, and he gives her a slight wink and says, "Have you been staying away from those ogres? Is this another one of those situations where I'm going to have to save one of your kindred?" And he kind of chuckles to himself as he sits down and maybe kind of waves over a mug of ale for himself. He has a long sword that is draped under his backpack, and like his sword is sort of cloaked around it, but it's accessible to where he could obviously pull it if he needed to. And I will be playing the halfling fighter known as Drogo Bramblered.
As Drogo sits down last at the table there in this little shop, Gevius looks over towards Drogo and she crosses her hands and she says, "Always overdress for everywhere you go. Armed to the teeth, as we should say. There will be no battles here. In fact, hopefully everything will go smooth on this little mission and there will be nothing to fight but old lost tales and ghosts in thin air, Drogo."
Well, that's what they told me about that wolf's cave. It was supposed to go smooth till the dire wolves came. You never be too careful, I say.
Well, of course, you should always plan and be prepared for anything. It would appear your two companions here are well prepared also, but and she throws the bag of gold that you had heard about as it clumps on the table, and she says, "As was offered to you and information sent to you, there should be 1,000 gold pieces. Split it up however you feel, but they will go with you up front for you three to follow this information I have to somewhere along the seacoast of the Frill Sea. Located, I think, is probably what was the last battle of Raynorth the Red. Um, Supposedly, he hid the emerald in one of these caves before the Baron's men caught up with him and brought him back to justice. But of course, it was never found. But that's what you three are best at, finding things for me.
Uh, Drogo's gonna reach into that bag. He's gonna pull out one gold piece, and he's gonna flick it over to what's her name? Gevius. He's gonna flick it to Gevius, and he's gonna say, "That's for the tip, and we'll split the rest evenly." I would imagine, as he looks over towards his companions.
Do we have passage booked on a ship?
Yes, you do. I have a crew waiting for you at the docks. You will be transported there, and a small ship will take you as close as they can to the coast as they can, and you'll make your way on rowboats to the actual cave. And she starts pulling out this old piece of parchment. This is the best that, well, the scholars and the people who keep up with history that I've been able to find about kind of where the cave that you should be looking for is. Of course, once you get there on foot, you'll have to find the entrance yourself.
Morgan nods and takes the parchment, but looks it over, and then rolls back up and says, well, time is wasting. And then she stands up and starts walking towards the door to leave.
And as you do, she also pulls out a piece of old, worn parchment paper, and she says, well, you know, the emerald belonged to the Greywind family hundreds and hundreds of years ago when this happened. And of course, there's none of the heirs left there. So if you find the emerald, return it to me. And I don't believe you can miss this emerald. It should be very well sized, if we should say. It was pretty much one of a kind. Its value today is, of course, unknown, but return it to me and I will increase the payment of what you're receiving now, of course, but just return the emerald to me.
Shall be yours, Gevius. And Drogo, if she allows, will like take her hand and give it a kiss.
Yep, you can tell her reaction is just neutral. I mean, nothing, you do it and it's just a neutral reaction. What about you, Horatio? Do you have any questions before you make out on your voyage?
You're gonna get it, Rush.
Yeah, I was supposed to be doing the whole space bar to unmute, but it's not working. Trying to use push to talk. He would basically watch the whole thing happen and would watch Cold Moon? That the sorceress? Yeah.
Yeah, her name is Morgan. Morgan of the Cold Springs.
Cold Springs, okay. He'd watch Morgan get up and just kind of go, well, off she goes. I'm waiting for an answer again. And he'd kind of do his hands like that on the table and he says, no, it seems as though everything is laid out clear as a bell. We shall do as you ask. And perhaps when we return to the gym, you and I shall have a moment to talk, if you have a few moments to spare.
Yes, of course. You return the emerald intact, and we will have plenty of time to speak, all of us. If you would like to speak alone, we can arrange that.
Very well. Well, in that case, I will see Miss Morgan out the door and make sure that she shall not be accosted by anyone. And then I'll get up and make my way out as well.
As you three make your way outside the shop, you see two of Gevius's men waiting for you. One of them's kind of a very wry, thin, human, kind of a rat-faced gentleman there in kind of old beggar-looking clothes, and the other one is a very short, fat halfling that's just roly-poly. In fact, you know, everybody calls him Roly, and he says, "Well, I'm supposed to take you down to the docks to get on the ship." And he looks towards Droger and he goes, "You're gonna wear that armor on the ship?"
Rolly, is that you? I haven't seen you since Tim Buckins. How's it been?
"Oh, I'm doing great. Just doing great. Doing everything that the boss lady tells me to do."
Yeah, that's usually the way to work in this kind of things. Anyway, what are the odds that I would fall overboard, do you think?
"Well, as long as you stay under the bottom of the ship, you'll be fine."
Well, then I guess wearing my armor should be fine. How long is this trip?
"Oh, it probably shouldn't take, well, you've got a good captain, I think. Probably shouldn't take you a couple of days, I think, to get to where you're going, I guess. I don't know exactly where you're going, but you know, somewhere like that."
Oh, a couple days. Oh, maybe I should put on something more comfortable then.
You notice as you're speaking to him, the other gentleman, the kind of rat-faced, wiry guy, he just stands there. He's never said a word. You know, he just is eyeing all of y'all, but he doesn't speak. Y'all have never encountered him before.
Well, suppose I have a little gold to spend. When's the ship going to be leaving?
"Oh, well, I need to get you down there fast. We've got to go. You know, haste, haste, haste. No time for any second drinks or third dinner or anything like that."
And what's the crew of this ship?
"Oh, well, I don't know. I'm not going on the ship with you, but I'm sure the boss lady's hired the best she can."
All right. Well, then there should be someone there to help me with my armor. All right. Well, then let's go.
He leads you to the docks, and as you approach the sailing ship and are put on it, he introduces you to an older gentleman with a fine trimmed beard and mustache, and he says, "Well, this is the captain, Captain Haynes. This is the people you were supposed to take along the coast, and you know where to go. I believe the boss lady gave you a map also." He looks at you three and goes, "Yes. My prediction is if the sea's not too choppy and we don't encounter any of those pirates, of course, we should be there probably in the midday of the second day, I hope."
Sounds good. Do you have any extra hands that could help me get my armor off and get something a little bit more comfortable while we're on the ship?
Of course. Jacques. You see this young, strapping, muscled-up young man come running over.
Let's go, Jacques. Drogo, Bramble Red. I need you to help me with my armor.
"Yes, sir."
And Drogo will head off to his quarters so he can get more comfortable.
All right. You notice that Rowley and the rat-faced guy, you know, they both leave, and all during the time, the rat-faced guy never said a word to your group. You know, Rowley, of course, you know, jested with you as you walked in there, but they both leave and go back as the ship begins to prepare to leave.
So Morgan turned toward.
Go ahead.
She's gonna say, "So, what does your god think of this journey? Do you foresee any dangers beyond those we can see with our own eyes?"
To be perfectly honest, I haven't prayed
I
to the
already did.
god
I already
about
have.
the journey or asked his guidance,
I
which
said,
perhaps I shall do that tonight.
Uh,
However, and I kind of hold my fingers and say, however, do not worry. You must have faith. We will be seen through.
she nods slowly. And then she grabs her. She got like a traveling trunk or whatever, and she has one of the boys carry him aboard. And she's going to go by where the captain is. If he's probably like with the wheel or whatever. She's going to go hang out up there. Unless you
Yeah,
guys,
he let you hang out up on the upper deck there with no problem.
yeah, she's going to go stand there, mysteriously like as wizards do. And then she'll say, "How's the weather this time of year for traveling such distances?"
Well, it has been unseasonably warm these past few days. I mean, much warmer than normal. So I would think the sea should be pretty calm. I look for nothing to travail us on the day, and as long as we don't run into any of those krakens, they're still in the seas, but we're not going that far out, I hope.
Yes, the krakens can be quite dangerous. And then she looks off like a wizard does.
I'm going to join them up on the steering deck. And as we start to pull out of port, I'm going to just kind of lean against the back rail so that I can look out across the deck and whatnot, and just kind of hold on to my holy symbol and silently pray to myself and see if I can perhaps ask for any kind of spiritual guidance on whether or not the journey will be dangerous, or if there's anything we should keep an eye out for.
All right, roll me a d6.
I got a 2. I don't know if that's good or bad.
Oh, that's pretty good. You kind of get a response from your deity that you feel very calm. You heard the captain mention about the calm weather. If it's warm, the water's being warm, and you get kind of a reassurance yourself that this should be a pretty easy trip.
So as we pull out, I'll walk over to Morgan and just kind of gently lay a hand on her shoulder to try and get her attention. And I'll just kind of lean forward and I say, well, I prayed to my God, and he fills me with the same calm that we see out on the waters. It appears that our journey, hopefully, from what I can take from it, will be largely uneventful.
Let's look at these though.
The calm before the storm, as they say.
Read it as you will.
As you guys are getting done talking and everything, Drogo comes out from getting all of his armor off and everything, and he's wearing like a yellow shirt and some leather trousers. He doesn't have any shoes on, of course. Letting his hairy halfling feet be free on the deck. And he has a straw hat on, and then he has like a little pouch on his side. And in his hands, he's carrying a pan flute. And he says, "All right, well, we have a few days to relax. We might as well get started." And I'd like to make some kind of roll to see how terribly I play my pan flute.
Well, do you have anything from your background with musical instruments?
I have an 8 charisma. I did the Wizdrum thing, and it gave me a pan flute. So I'm gonna say sometimes I play a pan flute. I don't know how well I do it though. So I'd like
just do 3d6 on charisma.
Oh, great! Yeah, I'm sure that'll be. I just rolled a 6. Another 6. I got 3 6s in a row.
Oh my gosh.
I got 18, and my charisma's an 8. So I start playing the most awful flute music you've ever heard. And like, I obviously think I'm doing really good at it. Like, I'm like super enjoying myself as I'm blowing hard on my pan flute, and tapping my furry halfling foot. But like, it's just the most awful pan flute music you've ever heard in your life.
So I I'm sorry. I was going to say, I lean over to Morgan and I say, well, you spoke of the calm before the storm. It appears that the storm has come early.
Say that again.
Yeah, and you see all the crew members just kind of vacate from the area where you are, Drogo. I mean, they seem like any of them that were working there on the deck or anything, they just kind of move off to other areas, helping other crew members. And you see the captain put a hand up to his forehead and just nothing but tension. And he says nothing, but you can tell he's not very happy at all as you continue your music.
I'm going to try and raise my hand to try and get Drogo's attention. And if he looks over to me, I'm going to say, Drogo, my good friend.
Yeah, what is it?
Perhaps we should allow the captain and his men to get the ship underway good before we begin to carousing and distracting them from their duties. What do you say?
Yeah, I suppose the pan flute really is more of a nighttime activity.
How much longer to paint that?
Yeah, that sounds good. I'll just wait till tonight to play it. I'll play it all night.
Look at the captain and I say, well, sir, I've bought you at least some respite.
And then he pulls out a little wooden pipe from his belt pouch and begins to stuff it with tobacco. He slips his pan flute into his pouch.
The rest of the day goes uneventful, thankfully. The sea actually stays calm even after the siren's call of Drogo. It raises nothing of any alarm. The night turns into a dark night, no moonlight, it's dark as the captain retires to his quarters and puts the first mate in charge of the ship for the night. And everything goes pretty smooth unless there's anything y'all would want to actually do that night.
Once we get into the mess hall, Drogo's totally going to crank up the tunes and try and get all of the men together and dance. He's going to be trying to encourage everyone to dance and have a good time as he plays his awful flute music.
Yeah, and you see a couple of the crewmates after they've had, of course, a little bit too much rum join in with you, and you'll stumble and fall over their cells and tables and stuff as, the dread awful sound is, been drowned out by the liquor, of course. But the rest of them kind of eat hurriedly and leave.
So Morgan is gonna, if anybody's interested, she has a deck of tarot cards. So she's gonna, read people's cards, mostly to get a feel for who the crew are. She wants to kind of, have some, we'll call it one-on-one time, for lack of a better word, with different crew members, kind of get a feel to see if this is a legit ship or if these guys are like, possibly the worst crew in the world. Like she wants to get a feel for like their skill and also how honest they are.
Yeah, perfect. What's your charisma?
9.
Yeah, roll 3d6 on charisma then.
Yeah. So I never play low charisma characters. Always do things that are charisma. No. Here we go. All right, 3d6. Here we go. Oh no, 11. So I failed.
Yeah, I mean, even though you failed, you still you pick up nothing that alerts you. I mean, the ones that you talk to either are very quiet, don't say much, as you would think maybe that's just the inference that they don't want to step on the captain's toes. Anything get back to the captain. But even though with that, you don't really pick up anything. It seems like just your normal ship if you've been on them before.
Okay. And she's going to believe the priest's prayers, and she'll, as it gets later, she'll hunker down and get some rest.
Yeah, the rest of the night goes uneventful as sunrise comes up, and it's another beautiful, extremely warm morning. Again, you can tell it's going to be a warm day. And if you make your way up top again after rest, the captain's back, and he says, "We've made good time, just good time. I believe we should be there in about 3 or 4 hours of where I'm supposed to drop you and wait. I have a secure rowboat, and it shouldn't be too far. I'll get you as close as I can. The waters are not deep of where we're going, but I think I can get you in where you won't have to row for maybe 10 or 15 minutes into the area, though."
Excellent. My men are strong and very capable of rowing. And she's going to start preparing her bags and stuff.
Drogo's going to help get the guy from earlier to help put his armor back on.
All right, he'll do that. And pretty much on schedule about what you would make after probably not even 15, 20 minutes after they served lunch on the ship. The captain says, "Well, this is kind of where it looks like as far as I can go. The rowboat is with you and the supplies, and I understand you have a copy of the map too, and evidently the caves are somewhere in this direction. That's pretty much all I know. I've never been on the shoreline in this area before, but hopefully you will not have much trouble. We will wait here upon your return."
We shall be back swiftly, hopefully. Morgan will climb down into the...
Horatio will go as well, and he'll volunteer to take the oars, knowing that he's most likely the strongest of the three.
Yeah, and the sea is calm enough where you're easily rowing. I mean, it's nothing to cause any issue. You're moving in pretty much in the direction that you think you're supposed to land on shore.
Morgan's just going to take note of like where the sun is in the sky, so she has a general direction of where we're going. So that way, when we head back, she can maybe use the stars or whatever to, if need be, to make sure we go back to where we were, because we need to know where we're going. Yep. 10 roads probably out of sight, so she'll pay attention to where the position of the sun is based on what time of day it is that she thinks. Anyway, she's got a 15 minutes, so she's probably noticing that. So.
Yep, perfect.
Drogo's gonna stand at like the front of the boat with his foot up on like the bow or the stern. And
he could do the George Washington.
And, yeah, just like heroic pose as he's like looking out over the shoreline to where they're going towards.
Well, perfect. Roll me a D6 for that.
Oh, great.
Drogo
Sounds
crosses
great.
the Potomac.
I rolled a 3.
Yeah, Drogo, as you're there watching and hearing Horatio's strain moving the rowboat in, you start to see the shoreline, but it's kind of hazy. I mean, maybe you don't realize what it is at first, but as Horatio gets you closer, you see the outline of what appears just on the beach itself, some type of rowboat that is pushed in on the beach there as y'all are approaching that area.
You know what? Let me get this character sheet real quick. I had one of those was wrong, but I got something that might can help here.
All right.
Let me see. Let me see if it was this one.
Yeah.
It is. I got a spyglass. So Drogo takes his spyglass from his pouch, and he flips up the front of his faceplate and begins to look out at this other rowboat.
Yeah, and it appears from what you can see through the spyglass that it's not one that's washed up on the shore, whatever. If it's in poor condition or anything, you can tell this thing seems to be usable and all that. I mean, it seems to be a little bit larger than the one you're in, and you see no one else around it. Of course, it's just pushed up on the shore there.
All right, he pushes his throat guard down and he turns back and says, "Hey, in that direction, I see another rowboat, So, maybe we should direct our course a little bit and see what's up with that."
So I would look over at Morgan to make sure she agrees, and if she seems to be amiable to it, I'll start rowing toward that rowboat.
You notice that that Morgan was kind of like eyeballing your muscles rippling as you were rowing the boat, and you probably catch her by surprise looking at her, and she just kind of stares at you, and then turns over her head and looks at the halfling and says, "Don't lead us into danger."
Well, I think we're heading into danger either way, Morgan. I think it's worth checking this out.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So she'll nod.
Maybe we're not the only people that Gevius sent here, huh?
Mm.
I don't see why Gevius would have been dishonest with us. But I'm sure all will be revealed in short order. Let us make for this shore and then begin to row harder.
Her name is Gevius the Black. She doesn't get the name the Black for no reason,
You do remember what she looked like, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but Drogo isn't. Yeah, but Drogo isn't racist.
Mhm.
Because I've done them so many damn times.
Yeah. It's medieval. Okay.
Anyway,
Yeah,
so
you make your way though, Horatio, if you want to go that way, and y'all will land pretty much on that map where number 1 is there, and you see this rowboat in very pristine, good condition with the oars and all that, and you of course start seeing some footprints that have exited from it as you get on the shore itself. You hear nothing or see nothing, of course, at this point.
How many sets of footprints are there?
Roll me 3d6 on your wisdom, and we'll see if you can discern anything. Anybody can do that if you want to.
all right, I'll give it a shot.
And what?
Oh, this dice is 11s and 6s right now. I rolled 2 more 6s.
I got 4 under 18.
Ooh, all right.
Let's see. I rolled 13. I did not get under my wisdom.
Horatio, as you're looking around at the different footprints, you can tell that there's some small footprints that you would think probably is from a woman, and you notice also some larger, wider footprints that maybe would be from a dwarf. You'd think anywhere from 4 to 6 people, different people, out of this boat.
So, if you share that with us, Morgan will say, perhaps we should move our boat further down the shore. If they come across our craft before we meet them, they may destroy it and leave us abandoned here.
Yes. A fine idea. And I would share it with you. Horatio would pretty much honest to a fault. So,
Oh, we got the fence in the
yes.
Once you share that information, Drogo, he pushes his throat guard up and then slams his face helmet back down.
Yeah, so I'll move the boat down a ways. If I'm looking at
because I made dinner.
if I'm looking at the beach, Where the boat is, I say take it the boat that we see there. Is that the one that we rode up on?
Yeah, the boat that's on the map is actually the boat that was there.
Right. So if you go to the left and like to the very left and up at the up some, there's like this little around the rock thing with some
Yep.
bushes. So I'm gonna
Yeah,
move
bushes
it up.
and grass. Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna move it up in there and just kind of drag it into the bushes that's up around the corner, so that if anybody comes near that boat, they really won't see it unless they go looking in those bushes for it.
All right, that's perfect. And as you're doing that, Drogo, you notice along the rock ledge there appears that there's been some brush cleared away and stuff. As Horatio is moving y'all's rowboat, you appear to be some brush and stuff that's been cleared away going into the rocks there, and maybe some grass that has been trampled down.
Barely. You sound like you're really far away from your microphone.
Yeah, I kind of am. All right, Drogo will kind of tap Morgan on the waist or whatever, and then point it out.
This is over where we're moving the boat, Tony, or where the
No, it's actually where the boat was, kind of just in we'll say north on that map.
okay, so by the other boat. Okay, so she'll look to where the halfling's pointing, and then she'll curiously walk forward to see if there's something hidden in the bushes, or if there's something like a dead body there or something.
Yeah, as you move into there, you see there's actually an opening into the deal there. You can tell it's some type of cave entrance that probably was been covered up, or through the years it had just grown over, but it's been cleared away now where you can make your way into what appears to be a cave.
Oh, interesting. So I turn back to Drogo and I say, Drogo, this appears to be the way in. Let's wait for our companion. And you know what I'm going to do? How wide is that gap? Like if you look at the map, like there's like that little inlet.
The inlet itself, we'll say it's probably 40 feet wide, 40 to 50 back to the water.
Okay. Because what I want to kind of do is use my boots. I'm going to jump. So I don't leave footprints. I'm going to jump out so in a couple of leaps, I'm going to jump over to where I'll mutter some like fake magic words so it looks like I'm casting a spell.
All right.
Then I'll leap, gracefully through the air a couple of times to put me over by where Horatio is. And then when I get there, I'll say to Horatio, we seem to find the entrance. Walk just inside the water line as to not leave a trace. I would magic you, but with your armor, it's a bit heavy for me.
I will do as instructed.
And then I'll stay with him though, so that I don't just in case he gets attacked in the water. I don't want to send you up to get attacked. Yeah, but basically the idea there is we're trying not to leave any tracks back to our boat.
Exactly.
You can pull that off.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I'm sorry.
Yep, and you're able to do that and get back to this entrance. And as you do, maybe all three of you go there. You notice all three of you just inside. It's pretty dark, but it's inside, laying on the ground, appears to be the stub of a burned out torch laying there.
Oh. Does it look recently burnt out? Like if I touch it, does it have?
Yeah, you can actually get a whiff of the smell of it. It has probably been from there within the last day or two, maybe.
Oh, okay. All right. Unless somebody has a light spell, which I don't think we do, I'll fire up a torch. I have 6 torches, so I'll light one up, and I'll say, "All right, gentlemen, this is where we collect the green jewel and get back home."
Indeed.
I'll draw my mace and my shield and place myself beside Drogo.
Drogo will pull his long sword, and he's gonna. I'm gonna say he's gonna move forward and be like in the front.
All right, Drogo, and then Morgan, and then Horatio. Is that right?
Yeah, I better be in the middle because I have the torch. Before we enter, I'm gonna raise my hand up in the air, and then out of the blue is gonna fly down this this white bird to land on my arm, and then walk its way up to my shoulder. And then once I do that, I turn and follow the halfling.
All right. And we're going to say on the map in the interior of the cave, each of those squares, we're just going to say is roughly 10 feet as you move in. So you'll go in. You don't see any other, you see some footprints that have been in here, probably from the same footprints you saw next to the rowboat. It turns into more of a rocky surface, though, as you go in. So the footprints kind of disappear. But you move in about 30, maybe 40 feet. And it appears the cave will go back to the east, or you can continue up north, kind of north to northwest.
Well, I'm in the back, so
Yeah, Drogo's up front. I was going to say. So you.
Yep, that's what you see, Drogo.
she may have had to step away for a minute.
Drogo takes one more step and falls into the mouth of the dragon.
Wouldn't be the
Oh
first.
crap! I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was muted. I was talking, but I didn't realize. Okay. So Drogo, from his adventures from before, he knows that good adventurers always go left. So he's gonna head to the northwest first.
Yeah, you move up probably another 20 feet as it opens up. The cavern opens up, and you hear kind of a water to the west. You can tell there's a pool of water. Probably another 10, 20 feet ahead of you, you see what appears to be maybe like an old campfire. As Morgan moves in behind you with the torch, you can see the outlines of what appears to be probably some type of campfire was set up there.
Do we see anything in the campfire circle that could be lit? Like if I want to relight the fire, or is it completely burnt out?
As you move in closer, it is completely seems to be burned out at this point, but you can actually catch that whiff again. And, this is probably fairly recent. This was made.
Drogo would like to, like you said, it's burned out, but like he'd like to kind of like spread the ash and the coal around a little bit. And is it hot or and is it warm at all? Or is it
No? I
completely,
mean,
like, cold?
you may get just a faint touch of something you would think maybe this was probably burned within the last 24 to 48 hours, though. I mean, there may be, but nothing hot at all, just a faint.
Well, someone's definitely camping here.
Do we see anything else other than the fire?
Nope, that's it.
Fire?
That's all you see besides that, and like a pool of water, it goes to the west along the edge of the cave.
I'll walk up to the water and I want to put my finger in it, and then I guess put it to my nose, and then eventually to touch to my tongue if need be. Because what I want to know is if the water is salt water, like if there's a spring that's running through here, or if this is water from the ocean.
Yeah, you taste it, and you can probably tell this is somewhere coming underground, maybe from the ocean. It's probably come in from the ocean itself.
Okay. Okay. So either I say, unless I would know this, either the tide comes in and floods this place out, leaving water in here, or there's another entrance. So we probably don't want to dally too long, just in case. I say to the group. And I kind of stand up with the torch and kind of walk back to the entrance of the room area, waiting for Drogo to go back in front.
Yeah, Drogo will head back in front again, and he'll carry on towards the east.
Yep, you move along to the east, and you probably go 20 feet east, and you start having to go back, walk up north. And as you do, the area opens up quite a bit. When you notice probably 40 feet in front of you, it appears that there's a steep decline. It goes down maybe 10 feet, you would think, as you're approaching that. It goes down into part of the another part of the cavern, which would be number 3 on the map. But in this area that you're in, before you get to that, you notice a bunch of mushroom growth and stuff all along the cavern walls, a bunch of different type of fungi and mushrooms. And Horatio, roll me a d6.
Basically,
got a
what
3.
happened was-
Yep, nothing. I mean, you hear nothing, see nothing else besides that. You can tell it continues. If you go walk on up to where at number 3 is, you can tell that you're going to have to, climb down somehow, probably 10 or 15 feet to get to that area there. Or you can also continue on up north.
Yeah, I don't think the
incorrectly as
map that
well.
we were given actually has any numbers.
Yeah, I don't
No,
know.
it does. That's right. It does. I remember. That's right. Mine. But number 3 would be if you went, say, north to northeast,
Okay.
kind of where it goes down, where you can see there's a ledge. It goes down.
Yeah, the middle section. Okay.
These mushrooms, can I tell anything about it? Like, would they be good for a stew or are they poisonous?
Roll me a wisdom. 3d6 on your wisdom.
Okay. Actually, I made it 8 under 11.
Yeah, you start seeing some maybe you're familiar with before that either you use yourself or have known other halflings use, whatever that you would think you could gather some and they'd actually be useful in some type of food.
Oh, look at this. These are purple cave shrooms. They go great on in a little bit of stew.
So the ones that you can't identify, I want to take a few samples. I'm going to take my small sack and my dagger out. I'm just going to scoop some up and put them in.
You're using your dagger to peel them off, whatever.
Yeah, I'll basically just put the sack next to it and just slice with the dagger and put it in. I don't want to touch it because I don't have any gloves.
Yep.
Or anything.
You're able to do that.
Yeah, and I just collect a few samples that I can, I can explore and investigate later. That's not what we're here for. So, but.
Go ahead, Daniel.
No, good. That's it. I just want to take some samples of the ones that you don't know. The ones you do know, I leave alone. And I say that. I say, well, I'll take these back to investigate what they might be then in my tomes, nature guides.
And the ones that Drogo knows are good and will go good in a stew, he's going to pluck and put into a small sack.
Yes, I've had this stew. It's quite hearty for a stew that has no meat. I can't wait.
Yeah, and as you're looking around this room more with the torchlight, you can continue on up north. Appears to be a passageway going, or this back to the east, northeast. You see that that ridge line runs quite a bit, probably 60 feet down, where it appears to decline that you'd have to probably go down 10 feet to get to that area.
Well, look at there. It looks like the cave goes a little further in past the mushrooms. Let's go there before we climb down.
That sounds like a good idea. And I have to torch all the halfling.
Yep, you follow it. It goes north for probably 30 feet, and it start curving back around to the northwest, and eventually will go straight to the west. And you probably go 30 feet to the west, and then the cave wall ends, and directly you have to go back straight up north. As you see, it opens up into a larger area itself. As you do, Morgan, roll me a d6.
3.
Yeah, you don't see anything. You can tell this area is very large. You would think it's probably, it's way out of your torchlight continuing north, but you can tell it's probably 30 or 40 foot in width.
Yeah, so I'd probably take a few steps east west and just to kind of feel out where the walls are, but then the cavern's much larger heading to the north. Does it seem damp in here, or do we smell water?
No, not any more than what would be usual. Nothing
Okay, good. So she feels confident about that. And she says, shall we go deeper into this large chamber, or do you want to go back and climb the ridge line?
Seems if a thief were going to hide something valuable, he'd hide it in a big room people would be afraid to go in, right? So I say we brave up and keep going. At least a little further.
Fair enough.
You continue, you would think, a good 50 feet north, and like I say, it's probably about just outside your torch light, maybe 30-foot width, 40-foot width in places as you continue to move up, and it appears the cave itself is going to end. But everybody roll a d6 as you're just walking and looking around.
Yeah,
I got a 6.
3.
What did Morgan get?
2.
A 2. And Morgan, you are walking along, and your boots, you kind of stumble. What you think you hit a rock, but as you look down, you see it roll out from under a rock. You see what you would know as a map case that is made out of this copper tubing, but it's this map case, and it appears it's kind of patinaed. It's been there for a long time, you would think.
Look here, companions. And I bend down and I pick it up.
Yep, and it's closed on both ends, and like I say, it's made out of some type of copper material, you would think.
Okay. Well, she's got the torch in her hand, so she can't open it and hold the torch. So either somebody's a sick torch or the scroll case. She'd much more likely have somebody take the torch because she's interested. So
Yeah, I'll offer to take the torch.
yeah, she'll put the torch out until somebody grabs it from her, and then she'll say, "All right," and she'll clean off any dust, and dirt and muck that's around it, because she doesn't want anything to possibly get inside and contaminate what might be in here, because probably going to have documents, she's assuming. And she's going to even turn it slightly away from the torchlight to start off with, and she'll unscrew one end and try to get it open.
Yep, you start messing with it and unscrewing the end. Of course, from age, it's kind of hard at first, but you're able to unscrew it. And as you unscrew it, you hear, make me a saving throw.
Did you hear that? I felt.
As you say that to the rest of the party and open it up, this gas just comes out from the end of the tube. You can tell it's been encased there for a long time. As you start kind of coughing and hacking, note down that any other kind of rolls you make will be at -2, as this gas permeates into your senses. And you would probably tell maybe many years ago when it was prominent, it would have probably been very poisonous, but due to age, it's definitely been diluted.
It's coming to my lungs. Oh, it's good that I held it away. Is the tube empty besides that?
You turn the tube up maybe after that, and as you do, these 2 leather little small pouches roll out. These little 2 small pouches roll out, and you can tell they definitely have something in them.
All right. So she's going to kind of like crouch down so that she can make a table out of like her robe in front of her, kind of like some space. And she's going to put everything down on that. And then she'll say, "Stand back a little bit. It could be something dangerous, but the curious mind must know." And she's going to take pouch number 1 and pull it open.
You open it up and discover a small yellow gem in there, in the first pouch. It's very kind of off-color yellow.
And she holds it up to the torch, that's there, and she says, "Huh, gem. This is why we need a dwarf at our party." And she puts it back in the pouch, not knowing what it is. And then she'll open the other one.
And there's a small, about the same size. This one's red, very dull red color.
And a red gem. Interesting. She'll put everything back the way it came. So she'll put it back in its little pouch and put the whole thing back in the case and close it.
All right.
And then she'll shove that into her satchel and then say, "We'll get a better look when we're in the bright light." And she'll reach out her hand for the torch.
Yeah, I'll hand it back to her and
Oh, there was
just kind of try and look at her and make sure she's okay.
Yeah, you can see.
Yeah, she looks very pale. I mean, you can tell that gas, even though with it being diluted through age, it's affected her pretty
Keep breathing deeply, and perhaps you can get it to run its course in you.
Yes, yes. Well, as I said, the pursuit of knowledge runs its risks.
Alright, once we get back on the ship, I'll play you a flute song of healing, and that'll help a lot, I'm sure.
Oh, so the tube was cursed, she mumbles.
Well, yeah, if you look around this larger cavern, it appears that eventually it just dead ends and you don't see any other way to continue north, east, or west. It appears that you'll have to go back the way you come.
Alright, Drogo will head that way then.
Yep, you come back to what we'll call the Mushroom Cavern, and you see the only way probably to continue from there to go east is you're going to have to use something to climb down this 10 or 15 foot down.
Drogo will take out an iron spike and a small hammer, and he'll hammer a bit into the ground. And he has 50 foot of silk rope that he'll tie around that pit, and so he can so they can make their way down it.
All right. Morgan, are you kind of holding the torch light over where, it kind of illuminates part of that area where he's going?
Yeah, I mean, I guess before we go down, I'll do that. But I mean, while he's banging on the spike, I'll stand by him, of course. And then before we actually throw the rope down the edge, I'll walk over the edge and kind of show the torch. Because what I'm actually wondering is if I can tell how deep it is, because I might want to drop this torch down there because it's probably starting to burn out anyways, and then light another one.
Yeah, you can tell it's probably in areas 10, 15, maybe 20 feet, but in the area you're at, it's probably about 10, 15 foot climb down onto the area there. And you can tell it's probably about 30 by 40 area. And you do notice something down there, though. You notice what appears to be a skeleton laying face down. And it's laying face down as you don't know exactly what happened, but it's a skeleton laying down in this area, kind of almost in the center of the room itself.
Do you see that, companions? Looks to be the remains of a explorer. Does the skeleton look, it's face down, it's not wearing any clothes, I'm assuming, like all the clothes are rotted away?
Yeah, you can tell from it appears to be aged, definitely there a long time.
Does it look like just like laying flat, like with its arms at its side, or does it look like it's in some kind of a odd position, like maybe it
No, it's just kind of the arms are kind of splayed out to the side, and the legs kind of splayed out straight out, but nothing to be distorted or weird.
right, so in a way that a person could actually fall if they died or whatever. Okay, so knowing that, I say be cautious as I look at the halfling before you climb down.
And even more weird that no animals have disturbed the bone.
This is true.
And Drogo will begin to climb down.
I'll go down
You make
last.
it down.
Yeah, I'll go down second to make sure that I'm protected by somebody with armor at all times.
Yeah, once he gets down, like he's gonna put his sword in his back so he can climb down, of course. And then once he gets down, he's gonna light a torch up himself. And that way they'll have light to get down by. So that way Morgan can put her torch out or whatever she wants to do.
Yeah, it's probably burning out, so we'll toss it.
Yeah, and you see once you're down first, Drogo, you can see the skeleton a little bit clearer, and it appears that whatever clothing or armor. It wasn't wearing any metal armor. If it did, it's all rusted through. But it's just appears that skeleton is, like I say, it's laying face down. It's human size, pretty much, a small human size, but appears to have been there a long time.
Okay. Yeah, he's not going to take too close a look at it yet. He's going to let his companions get down first before he tries to see if he can take any kind of closer look.
Yeah, they both make it down very safely. It's like I say, 10, 15 foot. Y'all were able to secure the way you did and get down safely.
All right, and then once they get down, then He'll have a small look. He wants to look around the skull and maybe around the bones and see if he can figure out was this person stabbed or did they get attacked somewhere? See if he can figure anything like that out.
Are you just visually looking at it, or do you want to touch it or move it or anything, or how are you doing it?
I mean, yeah, he's not going to be afraid to move the bones around and stuff. He's not going to try and disturb it too much, but
As soon as
But I mean, yeah, he'll
touch him,
definitely. He'll examine the rib cage first, and then move on up to the skull and
as
stuff.
soon as you touch the rib cage area, the bones, you see a shimmering vision, and it just everything changes. I mean, it's like it just shimmers over, and you see the skeleton gone. It just disappears. As now you see a body of an elf, a female elf laying face down, wearing these robes. You can tell she's definitely dead, but it's probably maybe only been there a day or two.
Drogo, I mean, yeah, he's kind of caught off by surprise a little bit. And he'll turn to his companions and say, "Whoa, do you see that?"
I've seen skeletons before. What seems so special about this one?
I don't think that it's a skeleton. I went to go look at it, but I'm not seeing a skeleton anymore. I think it was one of those. Well, you know all about that magic stuff. Go on, touch the skeleton. See what I mean?
So to make sure I understand, Drogo's the only one that sees it as an actual.
Yep, at this point, Drogo is the only one that's telling y'all that it's not a skeleton.
You could be the victim of sorcery. What does it look like to you?
It looks like an elven woman.
So speak to her. Ask her what's going on.
I'm pretty sure she's dead. You said that there was a stab wound on her or something, Tony?
No, you don't see any visual wounds on her.
Well, I don't see any visual ones, but he's gonna put his hand up through her. Is she face down in the mud?
I just sent you a message, Rush. Yeah, she's face down, correct. Just like the skeleton was, she's also face down.
Okay. Yeah, he does say she's still face down, and I mean it doesn't look like she's breathing.
Roll her over, perhaps. And
Okay.
she takes 2 steps backwards.
So I would say, Horatio would go, Miss Morgan,
No
if you
virus there?
have a brief moment.
Okay. So we step another step back.
And I would just lean in and whisper while Drogo's messing with that. And I would say,
I'm gonna go get
the footprints in the sand outside that we saw, I would be willing to bet my life that one of them was of a female foot of a fine build, exactly like what would expect from an elf.
Interesting. Oh, not old.
Drogo, you're going to turn the body over?
Drogo is gonna pull his sword, and he's gonna use the sword to push the body over.
Yeah, you turn the push and turn the body over, and sure enough, it's a very, you would think, a young elf, female elf. She appears to have some type of bruising to the side of her face, maybe some type of blunt object or blunt weapon or something. But she's definitely dead.
When he turns the body over, does the skeleton turn over?
Yeah, y'all are seeing him turn a skeleton over.
Okay, all right. That's kind of what I wanted to know. If there was affecting good.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, as Drogo is describing this, both you and Horatio both are seeing a skeleton.
She's got a
Yes.
bruised face. I think. Yeah, I've seen damage like this before, and this is definitely from a blunt instrument, probably like a mace, Tony.
Yeah, you'd think a mace, a club, something like that. Sure.
Probably like a mace or maybe a well-crafted club.
Do the clothes look of this era? Or it takes some years for a body to deteriorate as much as we're seeing.
This is a recent death for sure. For sure. She's been dead a day, 2 at the most.
Why is it that the rest of us cannot see this?
Maybe because you didn't try to examine it like I did. Go on, try and touch it.
So either the magic is hiding the body, which is recent, or our friend here is seeing something that happened in the past. I'm going to take some is there sand in here or any like loose sand?
Some, but not much. I mean, but there's enough you could get maybe a small handful if that's
All
what
right,
you're.
I want to get the small handful. I'm going to stand over the body and I'm going to like slowly shake it and see if I see the sand fall through the rib cage all the way to the ground, or if when it hits like that part of her, if like it stays there. So what I'm thinking is maybe she's actually there and we just can't see it because it's an illusion. So I'm trying to like overcome that if that's the case.
Yeah, so you're just going to let the sand drip out of your hand onto the skeleton, but you're not actually touching the skeleton.
That's right.
Yeah, as the sand touches that, you see the shimmer and stuff and glow, and then you see the elf laying there instead of the skeleton, much like Drogo was described.
So we both see it now because I did it with
Yep,
sand.
you see it now, correct?
But also the cleric, or no?
Nope, Horatio. If you say that to him, he looks at you puzzled as he's still seeing a skeleton.
So with that, then I say, Horatio, I believe this is an illusion cast upon the body of this elf, so that people would not know that there's something going on here. You must disbelieve, find faith in your god, but not in this spell cast upon the skeleton.
That is easy. What manner of foul sorcery would cast such a spell to mask the dead instead of giving them proper burial? And I walk over and I reach down to try and just touch the skeleton on the back.
As soon as you reach down, Horatio, and touch it, you see what everything else has been described. You see the dead elf body instead of a skeleton now.
She slipped over, so you touch her stomach now.
Oh, okay. Well, shoulder, whatever. Yeah. Okay. So then I kind of glance at her feet and see if they match the size of the footprints.
They do.
So I'll share that with the group and I say I'm sure of it. These are the diminutive footprints that I saw out in the sand. Someone has murdered this Fey woman and has decided to hide their deed.
Well, you're the magic user here, Morgan. You think maybe a necromancer resides here?
Or it could be the magic of the cave itself. This we won't know till we explore some more.
And one other thing happens is Horatio is the last to see the body. Something else shimmers and glows about maybe 5 feet away from the elf's body. You see appearing there this very large sack, and it appears to be weighted down with something, a lot of something.
Oh, look. She had a sack with her.
I would suggest you do so with caution. You saw what happened to the fair Morgan when she was opening a simple map case.
Yeah, Morgan coughs a little bit.
True. All right.
Point the bag away from your face, my wee friend.
He wants to look the sack over first, and specifically if this was her sack, I think he'd be more worried about this is an elf, so I think in his head he'd be more worried about like magical traps than like mechanical ones. So he wants to try and even though he doesn't have any skill with magics or anything, he wants to look over the bag and see if there's any magic looking runes or something like that on it.
No, but you can tell the bag, the sack, whatever itself. You can tell it's probably not that old. You can definitely tell it's not been here for hundreds of years. I mean, you can tell it's kind of well used, but you can tell it's much newer made leather and stuff. It's
Okay, he's gonna take a deep breath and hold his breath, and then he's gonna open the sack.
You open the sack, and as you look in, you see it is filled to the top with these gold coins.
Oh. Well, I think I found our bonus.
Nice.
Check this out, fellas.
Appear in the sack and say, "Ha! Well, that indeed."
But if our
We
young
can.
discovered the stone in the cavern, did she find the gem as well? I'm curious. Do you have another sack? See if you could empty that into your sack. And see if there's anything else in here.
I have 2 large ones that if you need to use
we
one.
can
I have a large and I have 2 small. One of the small I put mushrooms in, so I got 1 small left. Is this a big sack, a large sack, or a small
Yeah.
sack, Tony?
Yeah, I've got 2 large.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
so y'all want to try to empty coins out, and see if anything else comes out of it.
yeah, just
Yeah.
Pour one into the other and make sure it's just coins.
Yep,
Just-
you'll spend, a turn, 5, 10 minutes or whatever doing that and going, sifting through and looking around. Yeah, that's all that's in there is these gold coins.
All right. Bramble Red will say, "Well, just keep it by the rope for now, and we'll grab it as we climb out." And he's gonna head over to his rope and he's gonna grab a hold of it went down 15 feet, so he'll grab it right where it's about to kind of touch the ground or whatever, and he's gonna cut it. So he has another 35 feet left, and he's gonna start heading over towards the next cliff.
Yeah, as you move over there, you can tell it's maybe a 10 feet down that you can have to go 10 feet down and would continue. That passageway continues north. If you shine your torchlight, you can see at the edge of it, it's about 30 feet and appears to go into a smaller width cavern that continues north.
Right. He's gonna ask Morgan, "Hey Morgan, would you mind holding this fort for me while I get this rope secure?"
yeah, she'll take the torch. So if it's only 10 feet down and my boots allow me to jump 10 feet, could I jump down there? Or
Yeah,
is
you
that...
could. You sure could.
Okay. I'm just curious how that works. Just in case I need to.
Okay. And so Bramble Red will get out another pitton and start hammering it in. And he'll tie off the rope and everything, and toss it down. And then he'll begin to climb down.
Yeah, you all 3 make your way down safely. Like I say, if you look 30 feet with the torches, you can see the passageway narrows quite a bit, and you have to kind of scoot up between us deal, and it appears to continue back to the north into a larger room.
Okay, Bramble Red will go that way.
Yep, you continue that way, and as you continue, it opens into a pretty large cavern, probably one of the largest ones you've been in, probably about 50 by a good 70 or so as you're moving in that area. And you see an area of large mushroom growth again along part of the walls. And you also notice something else. You notice as you're moving in this room, what appears to be another skeleton that's laying in the area of the mushroom growth that's kind of in the center of the room. And as you do, let's take about a 5-minute Bible break and come back as you maneuver in and see another humanoid-sized skeleton laying down.
Okay.
I'm back.
Me too. I just sat down. Hey, Rush, did you hear the description of this room before we took the break?
No, I'm sorry, I didn't. I had to go to the bathroom really bad.
Oh, that's fine.
I
It's a very
apologize.
large. This cavern y'all have moved into is very large. It's probably you'd think a good 50 by 70 or so. I mean, it's probably the largest one you've moved in.
Okay.
There's some mushroom growth along part of the walls, and like this mushroom growth and stuff in the middle of it, and also laying in the middle, the center of the room where the mushroom growth is. Have noticed they never humanoid-sized skeleton that is laying face down, and that's where we stopped at.
Okay. I got my pirate mug in honor of our seagoing adventure.
Nice.
It's really cool. It's got all the pirate flags for all the known pirate captains.
Oh wow, that's neat.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize there was different pirate flags.
Oh yeah. Each pirate, you always see the quote unquote Jolly Roger,
Right.
but each pirate had their own. Edward England had this one, which is the typical Jolly Roger
Right.
that you used to see, but like this one is that's Blackbeard's right there. It was actually a full-on little focus, full-on skeleton with a spear stabbing a heart. That was actually the Jolly Roger he flew.
Wow.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah.
I just got a book in the mail from Amazon today about age of piracy.
Mm-hmm. Well, the cool thing about Blackbeard is one of the awesome. Ow, shit, dog. One of the awesome things about living in the area that I'm in is they caught Blackbeard, or where his hideout used to be down in the Outer Banks of North Carolina, which is only like 2 hours away. But it was actually at the mouth of the harbor here that they ended up sticking his head on a pike. So,
Oh wow.
yeah. So there's a lot of, like, every year here in town in Hampton, they have a Blackbeard festival where everybody dresses up like a pirate and they do all kinds of piratey stuff.
Huh.
So pirates are a big thing here.
Mhm.
Arg.
I would still like to play some pirate stuff. It's just a matter of making it like as a campaign, but it's how to make it interesting, I guess, over the long period.
Yeah.
All right, as you three make your way into this large room, you see all the mushrooms and along the edge, and you see the mushroom growth in the middle, but you also see the humanoid skeleton laying down in the middle of some of these mushrooms. As some of the mushrooms have grown up through the skeleton itself.
You think it's more sorcery?
Could be. All right, I'm gonna walk closer to the skeleton. I don't want to touch any of the mushrooms if I can avoid them, unless I know what they are.
Yeah, there's variations of, you probably would recognize some, but there's all kind of different variations again. Maybe some even Drogo, doesn't know. And as you do that, Drogo, roll me a d6.
Okay. 5.
All right. But yeah, you're able to approach it, Morgan. Approach the skeleton, and as you do, it appears this skeleton has been here a long time. You notice appears that pieces of probably it had some type of maybe leather or studded leather. As you start seeing studs in it, studded leather armor it was wearing. You see the skeleton itself is like it's almost broken half. I mean, like the body was actually pulled apart or something. It's not together. I mean, you don't know what's caused it at this point, and you see a broken sword that's broken in half laying next to it, and remains of what you would probably think would be an old torch that's in pieces.
Okay, so like before, I want to kind of drop something on the skeleton, like in the chest cavity of the skeleton, to see if it falls through to hit the ground. I'll pull out one of my oranges, because I have multiple oranges for some reason, and I'll start peeling the orange, and then I'll drop some of the orange peels through the rib cage.
It's
Yep,
so
you're
you
able
want
to do that. And as you do that, you notice laying up underneath the skeleton and kind of to the side, also as you notice these other things, you notice another what appears to be a map or scroll case. This one is made out of like a leather wrap deal. It's been there for a long time. You can tell it's aged, and part of it's kind of maybe the leather's coming apart.
And the stuff fell through the skeleton, so I think the skeleton's real.
Yep, fell
Okay.
right through the skeleton. Yep.
All right. I'm going to say I'll call them forward. I'll say I believe the skeleton is true. And look, here's another map case. And also, do you hear that whistling? My tea is ready.
I think that map case from earlier is getting to her. We might want to keep an eye on her.
if you don't mind, I think I shall take a stab at this one, and I take the map case and I do my best to check it over to make sure it's not trapped, and then I do the same thing as I point it away from me and try and open the leather case.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost when you start opening it, it's almost wants to tear part of it. I mean, you can tell it's old. And as you open it up, you see wrapped up what appears to be some type of parchment, maybe from just a quick glance, it appears to be some type of map or something, or a drawing as you're taking it out, and it's very delicate that you're going to have to handle as you take it out. And as you do, you start reading an old common, that some of the words that are not used anymore, and you can tell this is something to show a drawing of the old Greywind Castle.
Greywind Castle. That's where the
That's
emerald
where
was taken
the
from,
story.
right?
Yep, that's the story of where the emerald was actually taken from, the Greywind Castle.
So I will gently try to unroll the map as well as gently as I can, and see if it's a map. What the actual map is of.
Yeah, you're able to do that. I mean, you tell it's very aged, and you're able to do it without ripping or tearing the bigger pieces of it. And you can tell it appears to be a outline of what the castle grounds itself from many years ago, which you wouldn't know anything about it, of course. But I mean, you can tell it's some type of drawing of where all the rooms and stuff were in the castle.
I show it to Drogo, and ask. I say, my wee friend, what do you think of this? Is it something we keep it? Should we give it to Gevius? Simply discard it.
No, it might come in handy. Sometimes those, old secret passages get forgotten about, Having a old piece of architecture like this, well, you just never know how that could come in handy. Really.
Is the castle currently uninhabited, or?
Yeah, you would know that there is no Greywind family anymore, and you would know that the castle collapsed many years ago, way many years ago. But as far as you know, the area of where it's at now is just forested.
I see. Well, perhaps you are right. Perhaps we should hang on to this then.
Yes, our contract only says that we must bring back the gem. Anything else you discover is for our use.
Oh, of
Never
course.
know. There might be an old cellar or something that managed to survive that holds some treasure still or something.
Well, yes, but I was simply saying if the castle still stood and was inhabited, I'm certainly not a thief. But
Of course not.
if the castle is in ruins, then
Yes.
well, then it does no harm to explore.
Yes, of course.
Individuals like us to procure and secure and take care of antiquities.
Yes, exactly.
So does this skeleton look like a person, like a human, or does it look like small, like a half?
Yeah, you could tell definitely the skeleton, once you look at it, it would have been a human.
So do you think that this is Ragnar himself?
I think it might be, and we should take his head, or I should take his head, skull rather, because it may have information for us. Let me look at it. So I'm gonna bend down and look at the skull.
You aren't a necromancer, are you?
No, of course not. That's filthy science. I'm gonna. Is there anything about him that might be a hint that this could be him or not? Like any stories that we might have heard that he has
The
gold?
only stories that you ever heard was from what history books say, and also legends that Raynorth, that he was captured somewhere in a cave, that he put up a fight, but he was actually captured alive after killing some of the Baron's guards, and they took him back to the Baron, who turned him over to the Greywind family, and he was executed by hanging in a public square. That's pretty much what you would know about Raynorth, and he was executed in a public square by hanging, and no one ever knows what happened to him and his body after that.
Interesting.
Well, I guess this isn't Raynorth. I mean, he was hung, but I mean, that's at least what the stories say. For all we know, he actually escaped, and
Yes. History is often written by the rich and powerful.
You know how those thieves are. They're always managing to slide their way in and out of bad situations.
That's right. They're not one of the pure original classes like us.
Great.
So I'm not going to take the head yet, but I'm thinking I'm going to. Is there anything else around here of interest that we see?
No, if you search around, you don't find anything else. You notice that the passageway does go north a little bit more, but it actually dead ends, the cave in dead ends into this large bed of these mushrooms and stuff, and it just stops. And you notice that the only way to continue would be to go back to the north and northeast, it appears.
Well, I suppose we should carry on then. No use to daddle around here.
I agree. If we don't find anything else, if the cave dead ends, maybe we'll come back and dig around the body. Because if this is him, perhaps the gem's here somewhere. But no sense in digging up the dead if we don't need to.
Agreed. Spoken well, my friend. Let us continue along our way.
You continue to the east, and you go about 50 feet down, and it appears there's two ways to go. You can continue kind of east to southeast, or you can pretty much go like south into a cavern.
Well, let's take this turn, and then we can come back up, and if it doesn't go too far.
Yep,
So-
you walk into what appears with torchlight.
Also, I'm sorry. I wanted to say real quick. Also, I'm guessing our torch is getting low by now, so Drogo will offer Morgan another torch of his.
Yep, you're able to light some new torches and continue probably 20 feet down, and this opens up into what you would think would be roughly 30 by 30. You see a sporadic growth of mushrooms in the area, and Horatio, roll me a d6.
All right. This time I got a 1.
Oh man, that's what I've been waiting on.
Thanks. I don't know if that's good or bad.
For y'all,
You
it's not
finally
good.
see the giant dead dragon that's been following you around. The Dragolich.
How about Morgan, roll me a d6 now?
Two.
You notice also, Morgan, you see it first as the torchlight is going, as you see the mushroom growth. Kind of, you can move in this room. You can see it probably it ends, probably another 20 feet in. But in that area where it ends along the cave wall, you see nothing but this patch of stuff growing along the cave wall, but it's just shining gold. It appears about where you can see, it looks like almost a vein of gold.
Like a gold mine?
Yeah.
Oh. Aha. So I look at it and once again I say, this is why we need to bring a dwarf into this party.
Do the rest of us see it as well?
Yeah, if she points it out, you see what from your area, you're probably, a good 20 feet from it, maybe 30 at the most, but it appears to be, something along the cave wall that's this shining gold, metallic gold.
Huh. So this is interesting because the elf had a sack full of gold coins. Clearly they're not minting coins here, but there is gold.
Well, maybe the gold coins are further ahead.
I want to walk closer to this gold phenomenon, for lack of a better word.
As you move closer and get to where you can see it better, it just seems like it's on the cave wall around maybe up 2 or 3 foot up off the wall itself, and it's just shining like a metallic shine to it.
But does it look like the gold's like in the wall like a mine, or it looks like it's been like coated in gold?
It looks more, no, it doesn't look like a mine. It looks more like a coating, a natural coating of it.
Oh, okay. Looks like it's been painted. This is very unusual, I say. And look in I pull my back down off my shoulder and see what I might have to poke at this thing.
I fear my experience is naught when it comes to matters of mines and gold veins.
Drogo says, I got a shovel with me. We could try and maybe scrape a little bit off of that, or I got a crowbar as well.
Ah, that sounds very useful. Shovel could be perfect. We need to figure out what this is. It could be blocking the way to where the gem is hidden.
Yeah, and he'll pull the. I'm gonna guess it's just basically like a miniature shovel,
Yep.
one travel size one for his case, and he'll he'll pull it out and hand it to Morgan.
What's the miniature shovel? You're a halfling.
I mean, I can't reach it all.
All right, so I take the shovel, which is probably like a little hand shovel, like you use in your garden for me.
Yes.
I'm gonna look up the wall and see if I can like scrape the gold area.
Yep, you put the little hand shovel to you up there and start scraping on the gold. And as you do, the glimmer and shine goes away. And you hear this shh. Everybody make me a saving throw.
12 made it. I think. Yeah, 12 makes it.
16. So
Yep, that makes it.
Also, if it's magic, I get a +4 versus magic. So
Nope, it's not
might have
magic,
been a
but you
20.
make it.
Yeah, we're trying to get over it, right?
Yep, equal to over.
I failed.
As you do that, Morgan, and you hear the hiss, almost like the hiss that comes from the tube, you see the lustrous gold disappear as this cloud of yellow spores just blows out across all three of you. Everybody will take 4 points of damage as this acid just splashes across and burns you. Horatio, you will also have -2 to any rolls as this cloud engulfs into your lungs.
Actually, Tony, I guess I failed because of the -2. I was just gonna say that. So do I have -4 now because I failed, or does it just
No, you'll just still be at -2.
Okay, yeah, I just realized as you started talking, I was like, hold on, I should have been -2 on that.
Yeah, you're coughing and hacking even worse again now.
Yeah. So yeah, I start coughing, and then they say, next adventure, let's try to stay in the city.
Well, yeah, everybody will definitely take the 4 points of acid damage as this cloud of spores hits you and just burns into your skin or face and area, but it just dissipates after that, and you see nothing but a cavern wall now that stops.
These foul illusions brought from the bowels of hell, she says, and then turns and as if she's going to walk, but waits for everybody to go with her because she's not going to walk by herself into the dungeon.
Everybody roll a d6 as you're still in that room. Maybe as the cloud disperses, everybody, if you get a 1 or 2, let me know.
Got a 4 that time.
I did not. I also got a 4.
1.
Drogo is maybe y'all are getting your senses back, and wiping yourselves off. Something catches your eye on the floor as you're turning around to leave, and it appears to be it's very small. Maybe that's why you missed it at first, but it's probably maybe 3 by 3, and it's in the shape of a small wooden chest, but it's very tiny as you kick up from a rock there.
Hand me my shovel back, Morgan, please. Is it like embedded in the ground?
It's not embedded. I mean, it looks like it's been there a long time as it's along some rocks.
All right. He's going to sheath his sword, and assuming he gets his little trout back, he'll start he's going to kind of like dig out a little bit around it and see if it's like any deeper in the ground or anything. It's just like
no, you're able to extract it pretty easy, and like I say, it's almost a replica of a very of a wooden treasure chest, except it's very small. It's maybe 3 by 3 or so, maybe 3 by 4.
All right, he's gonna see, like, is there a lock on it, or
there is not. It's just got a hasp that's closed.
All right. He's gonna, like, as best he can, like, try and step away. He's gonna hold his breath and kind of guard his eyes a little bit, and he's gonna pull that flask open.
Yeah, as you flip it open and open it, there's a small leather pouch in there that is wrapped up, laying in it.
Hmm. Yeah, he'll put his trowel back, or no, he's actually gonna take his trowel and he's gonna like use the trowel to move the pouch, see if anything happens. He's gonna kind of like toss the trowel at the pouch.
Yeah, as you move, touch the pouch, whatever you can tell, there's something fairly sizable in it.
All right. All right. He's convinced that it's not trapped now, so he'll go ahead and open it up and see what's in there.
You open it up, and inside of it, you find a very large, the largest gem you've ever seen in your life, that is growing green, emerald colored.
Oh, my friends, I think I found what we came here for. And he'll show the party.
Perfect.
And we got a large sack of gold waiting on us on the exit. So I said we get out of here.
The luck of the halflings strikes again.
You know it, friend. Can't wait to get back on the ship and play a happy song for us in our celebration.
Oh, but wait. Why are we in such a rush? It seems a pity to make merriment so quickly when there's still much more that we could explore.
I don't know. I mean, I've been in these situations before. You usually get out when the getting's good.
No, this is true. This is true. Okay.
I am mission having been accomplished. I am here only to provide the two of you with guidance and assistance. So whatever you decide, Horatio will see it through.
So she nods and coughs a little bit, maybe like a little bit of like blood comes up, and she says, "Perhaps my ears can take more torture than my lungs." And then she starts moving towards the exit.
All right, y'all move back to there. Like I said, there's a passageway that continues down to the south, or you can maneuver your way back out.
We're going to start maneuvering our way out.
Yeah, the only thing is I want to stop and take that skull from the body.
You do take the skull, okay? Yeah, I mean you can extract it. Nothing happens. You're able to do that.
I mumble some kind of prayer. That's not probably really a prayer, but I pretend like it is.
And we'll grab the gold on the way out as well if we need to.
Yeah, the
we'll
bag
split
that
the weight.
Yeah, the bag that you set there. Yep.
I'm
You're
actually
able
going
to do that. You
I'm
make your
also-
way back to the entrance without too much trouble.
Well, I think we want to take the elf. Is that what you're going to say?
Yeah. I would like to take the body of the elf woman as well.
Yeah, you can shoulder her. She's pretty lightweight. You can shoulder her and take her body.
I'll wrap her up in my cloak or whatever. I want to see her back to town and possibly to her own people for proper burial.
As we're bringing her out, though, I say to Horatio, didn't you notice multiple sets of footprints going in?
I did, but as you two chose, there was more of that cavern to explore. There could be others still in there, though I fear probably that have shared the same fate. But I will allow no. I do not know this woman's story, but I will not allow a fair maiden as this to be left to rot in some forgotten cave.
How many? Can we when we get back to the entrance? Can we tell how many people we think went in there?
Well, unfortunately, when you get back to the entrance, you're not going to have time to do that. Because as you three exit with your little bag and your little treasure chest with the gem and all that, this is what you are going to see waiting on you as you come out. You see a group of 4 people. You see a dwarf holding a crossbow with an eye patch, and he's got a big pipe coming out of his mouth. And you see what appears to be a human fighter dressed in this chainmail. And you see what you would think would be some type of rogue type character with him. And you see a little skinny guy with a hood pulled around his face. But the dwarf is puffing on his pipe, and he looks at you three and he goes, "Ha! Thank you for getting my bag of gold. Just go ahead and drop it there at the entrance, and that's all we'll be needing from you. We've already found the gem. I know y'all didn't find it." And as you say that, or as he says that, he holds up this very large green emerald and shows towards you. "So just leave my bag of gold there and anything else you found in there. And don't worry about Vonda there. She's dead. Who gives a rat's ass about her? But just drop the stuff, and I guess maybe I'll let you leave here alive."
Okay. Does his gem look like our gem?
Exactly like it.
Interesting.
From what you can tell, he's probably 30 feet away from you.
Yeah, he held up to.
But yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna jump, hopefully away so that I don't get shot with an arrow, and behind cover or step back or whatever I need to do, and then I'm gonna cast a spell.
all right, we'll roll initiative. We'll do D6, and if you got a dex, minus or dex. And
Are we doing side initiative?
no, an individual initiative. And Morgan, I'm going to give you a plus, even though you got your -2, I'll give you +1 to initiative since you've got those boots.
All right.
So, Horatio, what'd you get?
I got a 4.
Horatio on a 4. Morgan?
I actually got a 7 then.
All right, Morgan on 7. And Drogo.
Hey,
All right, Morgan, lead us out then as you're going to do what you want to do.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say I'm gonna take my bird, that I had, and I'm going to let it fly out over into the air, and then as it does, I'm going to say, "Calamax, take your true form," and I'm going to cast Phantasmal Force. In the Phantasmal Force will be a large white dragon. Of course, the bird's going to fly away, so they think the bird turned into a dragon, which will then breathe. If it can, this turn it's going to breathe its breath weapon on them. But it's going to stay up in the air, hopefully out of range, because it's a dragon. So yeah, I'm going to turn the dove into a dragon with Phantasmal Force. That's my plan, anyways.
All right. You were able to do that. Let's see how they react. The guy in the robe, what you would think, Morgan, you would definitely think probably the guy in the robe is some type of wizard himself. Him and the dwarf both start laughing and cackling and go, "It's going to take more than that to scare us off." You see the human fighter in the what you would think would be the human robe. They're kind of startled as they look up at your dragon in the sky, though. Horatio.
I too am going to cast a spell. How many did you say it was total?
There are 4 of them.
Okay, so I'm going to attempt to cast my 1 second level spell, which was Hold Person, which says I can target 1d4 persons of human size or smaller, or make a single creature who must make their save at a -2 penalty. So,
All right.
What do you guys think? Should I go for multiple or
Oh my god.
freeze the dwarf?
Whichever
I mean, if it were me, I would honestly go for the magic user. I don't want the magic user casting spells out. That's what I would do. I mean, it's your character, your decision.
Sorry, I was under attack by the damn dog again. All right, so you think I should just focus on holding the magic user?
Where is it?
That's what I would do. But like I said, your character, you make a decision.
But yeah, no, you're right. I've never had to use this spell before, so it's a new one on me. Okay, so
You're going to try to hold the magic user and it's save at -2, right?
is the magic user a human?
Yep, they're all human except for one dwarf.
Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try and go for the D4 and pray to God I can get a 3 and see if I can't hold all of them but the dwarf.
All right, see what you can do, and then they all get saves.
All right. And I got a 3. I
Hey, let's
actually
see what
got a 3.
happens. So you're targeting everybody but the dwarf, right?
Yes.
This is the first
All
one?
right. The fighter fails. You have him held. The thief and the magic user both made it with 17 and 19 on the die.
Oh shit! They would have
So
passed
you
it
see
even-
you see the fighter froze in fright, maybe from seeing the dragon, and also the other deal. The other ones doesn't seem to have any effect on them.
So as soon as the spell goes off, I'm just going to be like, well, your big one there seems to be a bit stiff. And then I pull my mace out.
All right, we are up to them. They had a 3. The dwarf is going to. He's going to target you, Morgan, as you jumped away, because he knows from having a magic user in his party, he knows what you are capable of. So he shoots this crossbow at you. And that is going to hit. And the crossbow will do 4 points of damage, Morgan, as a bolt strikes into you.
4 points. Okay, I'm still up, but barely.
The fighter, you see him he's just frozen, fright and fear, you would think, from looking at the dragon, but something else has happened to him also, as he's been froze by the cleric. The thief, let's see. Oh, wow. He rolled a nat 1, so he's looking up at the dragon, frozen right now. The magic user is going to look at. He's going to look at you, Horatio. And as he does, you start hearing him whisper some words. And you see the face come up out of it. And you see the rat face, the wiry rat face of the guy on shore that took you to that ship. And he goes, Ishalala, as you see these bolts shoot out from his hand. And I'm going to do it a different way.
Rat bastard.
These 2 bolts come at you. One of them will hit you. The other one misses. You'll take 3 points of damage from one of them. As a bolt shoots into you. And we are now up to you, Drogo.
Drogo is going to say, Drogo drops the bag of gold. He pulls his sword and says, dwarf and halfling, at last we meet. Our battle shall be legendary. And he'll charge the dwarf with his long sword and attempt to hit him.
Yeah, as you're charging into him, you see him drop the crossbow, and he's pulling out like what appears to be a sword.
Nice. So as we meet, I have a 2, so we just clash swords together.
All right. We're back to you then, Morgan.
Okay, so I'm going to use my turn to have the dragon breathe its breath on the 2 people that believe it to hopefully kill them.
Yep, the fighter and the thief. Okay.
Yeah. It's a double dragon. So it does. Should I just draw? I just lost it. It does, I think, 4 points per hit die, and the hit die is 5 to 7. So even if you say 6, then it does 24 points of damage, basically.
24.
Yeah.
If the fighter is paralyzed, I believe he's automatically hit, isn't he?
Well, it's a breath weapon, so that would make a saving throw. But I guess yes, so it's 24 and then half if they save.
Yeah, the fighter's froze anyway, so you see him fall to the ground screaming in agony as he thinks he's dead, man. You see the thief, the rogue-looking character, you see him fall to the ground, not moving either.
Okay. Cool.
So we are up to you, Horatio, then.
All right. In an effort to make sure that everyone survives, I'm going to immediately rush to Morgan's side this time, and I'm going to cast Cure Light Wounds on Morgan, since he said up but barely. which does 1d6 plus 1.
All right.
I rolled a 4, so you regained 5 hit points.
Ah, perfect. Thank you.
I,
That was
I cast a spell on you, and I go, I was like, not yet.
Where is she?
Wiggle those fingers, woman.
she smiles and says, "We'll get through this, and if the music doesn't kill us, then the wine will."
We're up to the dwarf and his party. He is sitting there next to you, Drogo, as he's pulled out this sword, and he's going to slash at you, and he will barely miss you. The magic user, rat face guy, is going to look at. He's going to look towards you again. Horatio is. He shoots these other 2 missiles at you, and one of them will hit again for 3 points, as he sees you trying to save your magic user. So Horatio, you'll take 3 points. And that puts us down to Drogo.
Horatio, you took 3 points of damage. I saw your heads. That was awesome. And Drogo. Oh, excuse me. Drogo will continue his clash with the dwarf. Say, "Ha ha! Isn't this fun?" And that is a 13 to hit. 13 to hit.
A 13 will hit him.
All right. For the D8 points damage. 5 points of damage.
Yeah, you slice into him and do some damage to him, but he still seems to be standing pretty strong. And that will put us back to you, Morgan.
Once he slices him, he slices across his brings it down across his shoulder and says, "I suppose doors aren't as tough as they say."
Morgan,
You see he's still got the pipe, smoking the pipe as he's doing all this too.
So Morgan's going to stand up with her hands out, like in kind of a peaceful gesture, and she's going to start walking slowly towards the magic user, and she's going to say, "But no, you don't want to hurt us. Join us. We could use you." And she kind of waves her hands and does the somatic motions to cast Charm Person. She's going to try to charm the magic user.
Yeah, just standard save, ain't it?
Yeah, I think so. It just says, "All affects living bipeds, human size or smaller, which goblins dryad spell succeeds, saving throw allowed." Yeah, standard save.
Oh man.
So,
He looks at you and he goes, "Yes, I think I remember you one night at the Raspy Raven. Didn't you come up to my room late one night and we had a little bit of fun? You're a friend of mine, aren't you?"
indeed.
As your spell succeeds, as he rolled a 3 on the die for his save.
Yes. So she says, "Yes, we exchanged the secrets of the unknown."
Just all night.
Yeah. So, So I don't know. I mean, I'm going to try to hopefully get him to defend us next time I have a turn.
All
But
right.
certainly attacking our friend. I mean, if we can.
Horatio, you had another one of those bolts slide into you. What are you going to do?
Oh, how much damage did it do?
3. You took 3 more.
Okay.
So 6 total so far from the.
So, seeing the magic user react to Morgan, I am going to charge down the dwarf with my friend Drogo and
All
try
right.
and whack him with my mace. So I have -2, but I have +1 for my attack bonus, so it'll be my D20, then just -1, I guess.
Yep.
To hit. Okay. And I wildly miss with a 4, which turns out to be a 3.
Morgan's like, "Come
Yeah,
on,
you
guys."
wildly missed the dwarf then.
Trip in
As
the
we go-
sand.
As we go up to them, we'll start with the magic user, the rat-faced magic user. As he's walking straight towards you, Morgan, knowing that y'all are old friends. He's moving towards you, You see the pipe smoking dwarf yell out, "What the hell are you doing? I can't do it by myself." And he turns and sees that he's surrounded by Horatio and Drogo, and he says, "Well, you fools, none of you will have it." As he turns and starts running towards the sea, and as he is, he's throwing the emerald into the sea. Both Horatio, you, and Drogo can have a attack as he's moving away from you on him.
I'm gonna take it. That will be 13 to hit.
13 hits him.
13. Yep. Again. And oh. No wait. I'm sorry. I don't think I don't. It's a 12 to hit. Never mind.
Yep, you barely miss him then as he turns. You don't expect him to run away then.
I am going to attempt to, as he, so I wildly miss when I swing, and then as he tries to run, I'm just going to try to tackle him to the sand.
Yeah, that'll work. Just standard attack then.
And you will not believe I rolled a natural 20.
Nice.
You tackle him to the sand, but as you do that, roll me, I tell you what, just roll me a d6.
I got a 4.
Oh, man. So close. You tackle him, and he's not expecting to be tackled. As he does, his hand lets loose the emerald, and you see it going through the air as it lands into the water. You were so close of it not landing into the water. You have him tackled and down, and he's not struggling to get away at this point. The fighter and the thief, of course, they think they're dead, and nothing else is happening right now. As your friend Morgan is coming up there, wanting to try to get you back to the Raspy Raven, it looks like.
Yeah, so I greet Rat-Faced Man and I say, it's good that you came as you did. It seemed like these hostile men were trying to waylay us. Let's tie them up. So I'm going to go over and tie up the thief and the fighter.
Yeah, and he'll help you.
Yeah. And we're going to get him, so we can get him in the boat. And the dwarf, I'll tell those guys to stop the dwarf or the cleric anyways. Because we take prisoners because we're not evil.
I punched the dwarf for good measure. As I'm getting up, I'm just like, "You bastard!" Boom! And I punch him. And I tell Drogo, I said, I've got this bearded son of a... I've got this, man. You go see if you can find the gym quickly. We don't know which one is which.
Maybe I should get this one. I'm not very tall, and the water goes down. You would have more luck than I would.
I just gotta sit there and go, "You're right." So I hand the dwarf off to the halfling, and then I go to right where it. If it's a gem, it's a rock. It should have went splash and sunk right to the bottom. So I'm gonna try and go right where I saw it and see if I can find it.
Roll me first 3d6 on your wisdom. See if you can get close to the area where you think it went in.
All right, this is one thing I'm good at. So I got a 8, 9. I got 9 under 18.
Oh yeah, you're able to get definitely what you think in the area where you see it sink in. Now roll me a d6.
I got another 4.
Man, what's wrong with you, Rush?
I don't know. This big dice only rolls 4s.
You look and search, and you have not found it.
As Drogo is tying up the dwarf, he'll say, "So where did you get that gem anyway?"
He looks at you as he's still got his pipe full of sand now. It's still in his mouth, and he spits it out, and he goes, "Same place you were looking for it, but we got to it first."
So did you, what'd you do? Like replace it with a fake?
What are you talking about? No, we went in there and looked around, and the The elf found it before we had to kill her.
Oh, you killed the elf.
You know, I was actually going to be nice, pack your pipe for you and let you smoke it. But for that, I'm not going to. And he's going to take his pipe. Is it a nice pipe?
Oh yeah.
It's
Yeah,
of
there's
dwarven
my
make.
collection.
Of course it's nice.
He's going to add it. I mean, those dwarves, they don't really know how to make a good pipe. I mean, don't get me wrong. They're good at making architecture, but a good pipe comes from a halfling.
I would argue that the best pipe weed comes from a halfling. The best pipes come from a dwarf.
Gentlemen, let's load these vagabonds into our boat here. And, let's get back to the. You still have the gem, don't you, Drobo?
Well, I was not going to say it in front of the dwarf.
We have nothing to fear with him.
Yeah, Drogo will like tap his belt where he's keeping the gem.
Okay.
I just stand there in the water, just looking and going, like looking in the water, just it's like, damn it, it's got to be right here.
I guess is it okay if can I go up there and check the thing? Because I'm going to go to the boat anyways. Can I check
In the
that?
water, yeah.
I'll say, let me take a
Roll
look.
me, yeah, I mean, of course, Horatio could have showed you the area, so just roll me a d6.
I'll say, let me take a look.
I'm like, it's right here. I know it.
No, it's not. There's nothing here. I rolled a 6. I think
What
it was.
What about your friend?
What about my friend? I don't think he can search.
Oh yeah, right.
I mean, I don't know. That's up to Tony, but
Rat face, yeah. Roll a d6 for rat face. He's not gonna have a good chance, but
all right, we'll see. Yeah, he wasn't. He was 2.
nope.
Okay, no.
Damn it.
Yeah, I think it was probably an illusion.
Well, you're definitely, you know these things better than I do.
Well, as long as our little friend over there is sure that he has our stone, that's all we need to care about. There can't be more than one. Or, as they say, there can be only one.
Indeed. So, yeah, I go get the elf woman's body, and I wrap her up and put her in the boat. And then I guess we take the others. Can we all fit in the boat?
Well, we have 2 boats.
Crystal, I just sent you a message.
Oh, yeah.
If you can read it. Yeah, you've got the 2 boats. You're able to do that. You get back to the ship where Captain Haynes has been waiting on you. Of course, he helps secure, after you tell him what happened, he'll help you secure the other party that was there. And
I think
you make your way back.
Yeah, I mean, with this this version of Charm Person, it's really powerful. It doesn't seem to ever end. So I wouldn't turn the magic user in. I'm going to take him as an apprentice.
All right.
I mean, it says until dispelled. So unless somebody has to spell magic on him, so I guess I got to be careful. But yeah, we'll take him as a student or whatever, and I'll try to reform him.
Yes. Or just release him on your own safety.
Yes.
And speaking of that, why don't we just start with you, Morgan? After y'all get back, tell me how the story is going to end for Morgan and Rat.
So Morgan returns, wanting to. She has this skull that she believes is quite ancient. She really wants to know the story. She wants to know what's going on since the body of the famous thief was never pirate. I should say was never found. So they research into that. Like they spend time doing it, but it probably is not something they accomplish immediately. They're trying to research some kind of a speak with dead type of spell, but hopefully with the wizard helping her, it will go faster. But whether or not she actually succeeds, I guess we'll find out another time.
All right, sounds good. What about our cleric Horatio who tackled the dwarf?
So as we get back on the boat and we get ourselves underway, I go down where the dwarf is, I guess, tied up or in the brig or whatever. And I go to Drogo and I asked if I could have the pipe, the dwarf's pipe. And I said, perhaps Perhaps you can show me how to enjoy these things. I've never really learned how to smoke a pipe proper. And I'm sitting right in front of the dwarf. I like get Drogo to show me how to smoke the pipe, and I'm going to smoke the dwarf's pipe right in front of him, and kind of eyeball him, and then I'll tell the captain I'll throw him a couple of the gold coins from the bag that we found, and I say, instead of music, we will drink, we will smoke, and we will tell stories. I said it's almost never that I get to see a halfling as well armed and armored as you. As surely there is a story behind this, and I would love to hear all about it if you would indulge me. And then I basically spend the rest of the trip either smoking the dwarf's pipe right in front of him, uh, checking on the body of the elf maiden, and making sure that Morgan is recovering from her poisonous map case episode.
All right, perfect. The dwarf mumbles and grumbles quite a bit with you having his pipe and stuff, but he doesn't do too much else. He doesn't give too much resistance now. Drogo, how's it going, Ian?
Yeah, Drogo will excitedly pull out his dankest pipe weed to share with Hordero, and he'll let him keep that dwarf pipe. Of course, he doesn't want any kind of, he doesn't want a dwarf pipe.
Dwarf cooties.
He's got his halfling pipe. They're much better. And if he ever stops by his hobbit one day, he'll show him the finer qualities of the halfling pipe. And why he's wrong about the dwarf pipe, but anyway. But yeah, he'll then, once they get to shore and everything, he's kind of nervous about taking that gemstone. He's kind of worried the whole time that maybe it was a fake, but it was what they found in the cave, and so he'll take it to Miss Black, and he'll say to Gevius, and he'll tell her, we went through the cave, and this here is what we found.
All right. Sounds good. We'll start out first with what you found in the cave. You found those two gems that almost caused Morgan to hack and cough too much. They would have been worth 75 gold each. The bag that you retrieved underneath the elf body, you would have counted out about 1,000 gold pieces in that bag. The tattered map of the old Greywind Castle, if you wouldn't have told Gevius about it, or even if you would have told her, she would not have wanted it or anything. You could keep it. It may turn, since all of you survived, it may turn into an adventure for you three another day to try to find the old Greywind Castle and see what lies there now. We go to Gevius as y'all take the gem in the little chest to her, and she looks at it, and one of her employees comes in and takes it, and she says, well, I'll definitely have its validity check, and I will get back with you here in a couple of days. Morgan, would you would Ratface be with you, or would you tell her about what he did?
Yeah, I think I would tell, and I would say that he had been misguided by the dwarf, but we've come to an understanding.
All right. She seems to buy that, as far as you know. A few days later, word is sent to y'all to come back to meet with her in her little shop, and she tells you that the gem was definitely validated, that it appears to be the real emerald. She gives y'all another bag, 1,000 gold, to split between you three for the mission. She keeps the emerald. She sells it to a buyer that she has for an undisclosed amount, of course. You see Rolo, the chubby halfling, come in a couple days later and says, "A boss, I think I found the the right person we need to take care of Ratface. And says, well, dear, tell me who it's going to be. And you see this dwarf walk in with a pipe hanging out of his mouth and goes, well, will it be the same deal our family always does? I take care of your problem and you make sure my brother gets released from jail. Gevius looks at him and says, oh, it's just the price of doing business, unfortunately. That will do the adventure known as Revenge of Raynorth the Red playing White Box. Thanks to Rush for playing the Cleric Horatio, Daniel for playing Morgan, the magic user, and Christopher playing Drogo, the halfling fighter. And it would appear they succeeded in returning the correct emerald back to their employer, Gevius the Black.